Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip tells us why Tom Brady might have had his best year ever this year. Shannon believes McGregor and Mayweather will happen because Conor is tired of fighting for peanuts. The guys debate who should get more credit for New England's success, Brady or Belichick, and also how far away are the Cowboys from the Super Bowl. Plus, former Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP Marcus Allen stops by the debate desk to talk Raiders and who he thinks is the best running back in the NFL. Skip and Shannon, anything for the H-Town crowd?
I want to thank the great city of Houston, Texas for its early morning hospitality. Thank you for your support of Undisputed, and I especially want to thank all the Cowboy fans. Yes.
You see this?
This Super Bowl is missing only one thing. How about them Cowboys? Yes. And everyone here is supporting me except one poor soul right behind Shannon Sharpe. He's got Shannon's throwback jersey on, right? 84. Thank you for doing that. He needed your help.
But I think these fans understand this is the only time we'll be talking about the Cowboys from a peripheral. They won't be in the game.
Wow. Houston, Shannon is about to have a problem here, right?
Let's get it started, and let's start with the Patriots. Roger Goodell said last week it would be, quote, an honor to hand the Super Bowl trophy to Tom Brady. Goodell suspended Brady for the first 4 games this season for Deflategate. Now, Brady's dad spoke out about Goodell. Let's take a listen.
For what the league did to him, what Roger Goodell constantly lied about is beyond reprehensible as far as I'm concerned. He went on a witch hunt and got in way over his head and had to lie his way out numerous ways. And the reality is Tommy never got suspended for deflating footballs. He got suspended because the court said that Roger Goodell could do anything that he wanted to do to any player for any reason whatsoever. That's what happened. The NFL admitted they had no evidence on him.
Shannon, do you have a problem with the comments by Brady's dad?
I don't have a problem with what he said. I have a problem when he said it. My grandmother used to say, boy, stirring up old poop still smells. And if you look at this, Skip, Tom Brady has handled it perfectly. He said, I have no animosity towards the league or Roger Goodell. This Super Bowl will not have any more meaning. Now, deep down, you and I both believe that this Super Bowl, if he were to win, would have extra meaning. I've been very fortunate. I was able to play in 3 of these games.
Yep.
After we won the game on Sunday, Mike Shanahan called us in, gave us the logistics, how we were going to handle situations, the ticket requests, so forth and so on. The following day, they would call the families and loved ones in and how they were going to handle the situation. Anything that you could possibly need, come through the team. Let the players focus on the game because that is the most important thing over the next 2 weeks. Guess what Tom Brady is going to have to do for the next 3 or 4 days? He's going to have to put out this fire. I understand Tom Sr.'s frustration. Mr. Brady, I understand that's his son. And he felt his son got wrongly accused. He felt that the commissioner and the NFL put a permanent stain on his son's legacy that will never get washed away.
Nope.
Even though how high you put it up on his resume is one thing. Tom Brady is a very accomplished. He's a Mount Rushmore quarterback. But I just wish Mr. Brady would have waited until after the Super Bowl to voice his displeasure. We can understand, because if that was my son, I probably would feel the exact same way he does. But coming here, I've always been a firm believer, and having a brother and a sister and a mom also. I said, look, you should never be a part of the storyline unless it's in a positive manner. I don't want to have to answer questions about what my mom, what my sister, or what someone said about Shannon moving forward. Tom is going to have, now what do you think he's going to get asked all tonight at media? What do you think over the next 3 or 4 days he's going to have to answer questions? What about your dad? And what's he supposed to say? That's my dad. I love my dad. I support my dad. But I'm here to try to prepare myself for it.
That's exactly what he will say.
I'm here to try to prepare myself for a Super Bowl. But I just felt he has a right to say this. I just wish he'd waited a week later to voice his frustration.
Wasn't Tom going to get asked about Deflategate every media session anyway? Isn't that the primary topic here the whole week?
Ask him about that, not ask him about what his dad had to say on this topic.
Okay, but if the father waits until after the game, I think the Patriots are going to win. But what if they lost? It would lose all of its traction, right? It would lose all of its momentum.
But let me ask you a question, Skip. Him saying what he says, how do you get to go back and undo what's already been done? Tom has already served this 4 games. This mark is on his resume. You can't white it out. You can't erase it out. So talking about it doesn't change the fact that he's already served his suspension. I'm sure Tom wants to move on. The Patriots want to move on. Him digging it back up again so it can be seen serves no one.
It serves his son, because I told you the other day when we discussed and debated whether his legacy, Tom Brady's legacy, had been permanently, indelibly stained. I told you, unfortunately, yes, it has. He was wrongly convicted in the court of public opinion by this commissioner, who I believe framed and railroaded Tom, we're talking about the son, Tom Brady Jr., for the sake of punishing the Patriots in the bigger picture for their history of cheating. He had no other way with Deflategate but to go for the quarterback. And I still believe that the commissioner of this league, in the greatest injustice in the history of this league, chose to attack and sacrifice the legacy of arguably the greatest quarterback who's ever played this game. You went on Friday all the way to the point is he's already the greatest quarterback,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So the commissioner chose to sacrifice his legacy for the sake of the league, to punish the Patriots. And I think he looked at Tom's legacy. Well, he's almost 39 years of age. He's probably about to be done. And all Tom Brady did was to come back and have maybe his greatest year ever in spite or to spite the commissioner. So to me, I loved what the father said, because the father, I believe, spoke for the son. Not that the son asked him to speak out before the Super Bowl, because that was Tom Sr.'s choice.
Yes.
But to me, in the bigger picture, Tom Sr. knows that his son has always taken the high road publicly. He's always handled himself with class publicly, right?
Yes.
That his MO has always been, I'm going to let my actions speak. I'm going to let my performance speak. And it drove me a little crazy through early Deflategate. We're going back 2 years ago, where Tom just wouldn't defend himself, because he's never defended himself. He just said, watch this. And what did he do? He took it to 2 levels of our court system. And what did Judge Berman say in the first level of court? He scoffed at, he basically laughed at Roger Goodell's evidence, all of it circumstantial at best.
And then the judge shows up 2 weeks later at Robert Kraft's house. I mean, there's nothing funny about that, but
Judge
go
Berman.
ahead. Judge Berman, he showed up at Robert Kraft's house. Now, I don't know how many judges hear a case and then goes to the defendant's boss house for a celebration, but hey, that's neither here nor there.
I think he was supposed to be there. As I recall, I don't remember the exact circumstance, but he was invited to a function, right?
Even if he was invited, Skip, sometimes the mere mention of impropriety is enough to sway public opinion. Don't go.
All right, but then it goes to the next level, and all they ruled is what the father said. You have the right, Roger Goodell, to do whatever you want to here, and Roger Goodell chose to punish Tom Brady with a 4-game suspension. And the mere fact that Brady, after 2 rounds of court, ran out of time, maybe not that he ran out of money, but he was spending the NFLPA's money. Maybe he finally said, you know what, it's not worth it as a distraction to my team. The season's coming back around. I fought it as far as I wanted to. I told you 2 sources close to Tom told me that from the start he wanted to take this to the Supreme Court. I believe Tom Brady would have won this case at the highest level, the Supreme Court level. But he ran out of time. He swallowed it and took his suspension. And I believe his reputation was indelibly stained to the point that his father needed to say something just to remind everyone as we start Super Bowl week, my kid didn't do it. And you can accuse him of being a blindly overprotective father, but I don't think that's what's going on here.
And rightfully so, Skip. He was supposed to do that. It's just hard for me to believe that the commissioner lays down at night and says, you know what? I need to stick a 4-game suspension to Tom Brady. Listen, who benefited the most from the balls being underinflated? Who stood to gain the most from the balls being underinflated? Skip, normally the way it operates, if you're innocent and you have nothing to hide, Listen, Skip, for my reputation, that's the only thing that I have is my reputation. So whatever I have in my phone, look at it. Whatever's been said, the correspondence that I've had, have added, Skip, because that's all I got. Mary Porter's name is all I can stand on at the end of the day.
They had thousands and thousands of Tom Brady's emails. They had all the texts from the equipment man, Yastrzemski, right?
Yes.
So they knew any contact that Tom Brady had with the equipment man, they had in their possession. So don't tell they had no smoking gun.
But Skip,
it's all circumstantial.
Who breaks their phone intentionally? Skip, let me.
You know what? Time out. I think a whole lot of celebrities not break it up. They just discard their phone every couple of 3 months.
Skip,
well, how do you know he broke it? He discarded it.
I'm going to tell you a true story. And Joy, you know this to be true. A week from Sunday, I was crossing the street in L.A. It was raining heavily. The phone fell out of my pocket. To make matters worse, a car ran over my phone. I want the information so bad, I sent the phone off to people that recover information for NASA and corporations to get that information back. But Tom Brady just broke his like, oh, no big deal.
You know, you can just back it up.
Who does that?
Who backs up their phone?
Plus, you do. You back up
the phone.
And furthermore, I just told you that celebrities change their phone every couple of months, not Shannon Sharpe. You know, that's...
You know what, Skip? You're right. I can pull out 13, 14, 15 phones that I've had through the years. I keep them. What am I throwing them away for? If I got... Skip, my reputation... Here, Commissioner Goodell, here you can see what I said to the ball boy that I haven't talked to in 2 years, but all of a sudden, in a span of 2 hours, I talked to him 20 times. I'm having a conversation with the very man I'm going to see in an hour. Okay. If I'm going to see Joy or Skip Bayless in an hour, why am I calling them, hey, what time is our meeting? I'm just going to show up. But all of a sudden, the ball that Tom Brady threw for 50,000 yards, he turned it over to a ball boy. Now, you would think, there are not very many quarterbacks that's passed for 50,000 yards in the NFL in the 97-year history. Tom Brady autographs the football and gives it to the ball boy. No one thinks that's ironic?
Okay, I have 2 points to make to you. The first point involves Mr. Peter King. Do you know Peter King?
I know Peter King very well.
He is the most respected NFL reporter, one who has often defended Commissioner Goodell on other issues. A year ago, he wrote in his Monday Morning Quarterback, this is the headline, shaky evidence, shady science, and total lack of interest in learning the truth are grounds for Roger Goodell to admit he erred in docking the New England Patriots draft picks for Deflategate. He wasn't just talking about Brady's suspension, but it cost them a first-rounder and a fourth-rounder. That's a lot of draft picks.
He didn't apologize for Bountygate. When Paul Tagliabue, the former commissioner who Roger Goodell succeeded, said this is BS. His former boss said it was BS. Roger Goodell didn't apologize, but you want him to apologize to Tom Brady.
Well, again, he's just calling for give them their draft picks back. But how about give Brady his reputation back because he was wrongly accused in the court of public opinion? And I told you that Tom Brady lets his actions speak. So that night, it was very cold in Foxborough, and obviously the balls could shrink in the cold. That's just science, right?
Yes.
So what happened? What happened in the second half of that football game? Let me tell you what the numbers were. Tom Brady in the first half against Andrew Luck in the Indianapolis Colts AFC Championship game. Tom goes 11 of 21 for a mere 95 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Second half with legally inflated footballs. Tom Brady goes 12 of 14 for 131, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. So he's just saying, what advantage did I have with underinflated footballs? What are you talking about?
They could have played with a cannonball or a bowling ball. They were going to steamroll the Colts.
Well, they didn't in the first half.
But it seemed shaky to me that the ball boy would say, I'm going to take, I went into the bathroom. But he went into a room that had no stall, that had no urinal.
Did he have those same ball boys or equipment men on the road that year? No. On the road, it's different. You don't have that advantage, right?
But the problem is that they never fumbled the ball at home. You look at when they fumbled the ball
We're talking about Tom Brady here. Only Tom Brady. That's all I'm defending. Tom Brady's passer rating in 2014 away from Foxborough was 102.4. At home that year, it was just 102. So he was a tick better throwing the football on the road where he could have no advantage from the away ball boys or equipment people. They're not going to help him doctor his football.
All I'm saying is, Skip, and when he had a perfect opportunity, because when they interviewed Tom Brady, a reporter asked him, Tom, are you a cheater? Joy, if someone were to ask me, Shannon, are you a cheater? I'm going to say, hell no. Tom Brady going to say, I don't think so. What kind of BS is that? Who says that?
I'll tell you exactly what it could be. And I've said this many times before. I've heard it from people close to Brady who are friends of mine, who I respect, who are not going to lie to me, that he's outraged over this because he made a comment his first year of starting. He liked his footballs inflated to the lower end of regulation. He gets a little better grip. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers said he likes his to the higher end. I don't really get that because I think any quarterback would like it to the lower end of regulation.
Bigger hands always serve the purpose.
Yeah, okay.
You know, but go ahead.
Whatever. So the point is that it's possible that Brady is protecting someone above him. I'm not saying that a coach. I'm not saying that a coach didn't say you do this. The coach could have told the equipment people you do this.
I'm not going to let you put this on Coach Belichick because when Coach
I didn't say Coach Belichick.
Yes,
I said a coach.
Yeah, whatever.
A coach.
When Coach Belichick, and he spoke first, they asked Coach Belichick, I don't know anything about the balls. Ask Tom. He's like, I don't want no parts of this. Ask the quarterback. He handles the footballs. So Coach Belichick really tried to remove himself from the equation. Skip, all I'm saying is this. This could have been handled a lot better. If Mr. Kraft did not get off that plane in Arizona and double down, saying you don't have eyewitness testimony, if there's not a smoking gun, when he knew the standard of evidence that the NFL could use was not a smoking gun. Preponderance of the evidence, more probable than not. That's the way
That is so shaky.
But Skip, the owner signed it unanimously, saying this was the standard in which we would use governing all players, all owners, all GMs under the umbrella of the National Football League. You can't sign it unanimously and then all of a sudden get a ruling you don't like and call BS. How does that work?
Well, here's how it worked.
Skip, let me ask you a question, Skip. You drink alcohol? Skip, you gonna say, no, you know I don't drink alcohol. You ain't gonna say, I don't think so.
Unless, of course, somebody above me forced me to drink.
You know what? Hold on. So now you're trying to throw your lovely wife under the bus, Ernestine.
No. She could never force me to do anything.
Ernestine. See? Okay. Hey, I do have a special bedroom, a guest bedroom with your name on it. You're going to be needed.
I may need it. Starting now. Bottom line, I loved how Tom Brady responded 2 years ago to Roger Goodell. You can do this with your underinflated footballs. Legally inflated in that Super Bowl 2 years ago against the Legion of Boom, and you say they were all beat up. They all played, right? They all played. They just won the NFC Championship game against Aaron bleeping Rodgers, and they came up against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and what did he do? He goes 37 of 50 for 328 and 4 touchdowns. In the fourth quarter of that Super Bowl, he goes 13 for 15 for 124 and 2 touchdowns. That's the all-time greatest Super Bowl fourth quarter any quarterback has ever played, and he did it with legally inflated footballs. Take that, Roger.
I'm not arguing what he did in the Super Bowl, but to say Earl Thomas didn't have a torn labrum, to say Cam Chancellor didn't have a sprained MCL.
You always tell me they played.
Oh, right? So now they played because you got the
That's
outcome
what you
that
said.
you wanted. Okay.
Old school, they played. If you play, you have no excuse. You play.
I'm going to remember you said that.
Okay.
You know
it works now.
Yeah, exactly. You know I watch every show in its entirety. Okay.
Yep.
I got this on tape.
I just closed the argument with your argument.
No. All I'm saying is I don't have a problem with what the dad said. I just wish he had waited a week later. Therefore, Tom doesn't have to put out these brush fires for the next 3 days.
So you're convinced that New England is going to win the Super Bowl then?
I'm convinced.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because that's the only reason he'd speak out a week from now is if his son won another Super Bowl.
Oh, so
his 5th.
We'll have to wait till Friday for the picks, I think.
My neighbor might have a little something to say about that, Matt Ryan.
Does your neighbor also know that you're a hoarder, keeping all of your cell phones for 15 years?
Hold up, Joy.
I'm a little worried about you.
You always bringing up old stuff.
Just a little worried.
No mercy.
Talk a little Floyd and Conor, huh?
Yeah,
Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor continue their war of words. Mayweather dismissed Dana White's $25 million offer a couple weeks ago, but the fight could still happen. Let's take a listen.
I believe the fight can happen. Conor McGregor, like I said before, he's a tough competitor. He proved throughout the years in the UFC that he can fight standing up. So we'll just see what the future holds. Hopefully we can make the fight happen. The fans want this fight. The fans have been asking for this fight. It's all about entertainment. He's very entertaining. He's very outspoken like myself. So let's give the fans what they want to see.
McGregor blasted everybody on his Instagram account before an interview on pay-per-view. He said, "I'm so made, heading to do a Q&A in front of 5,000 fans." You read that right. That's more than UFC attendance tonight, and it's on pay-per-view. Bleep the UFC, bleep Floyd, bleep boxing, bleep the WWE, bleep Hollywood, and bleep you two, pay me. Skip, will this fight happen?
No, it will not.
Oh.
That was a bunch of baloney you just heard from Floyd may or may not weather, because there is no way that Floyd, as he nears 40 years of age, will risk his 49-0 legacy boxing Conor McGregor. He has nothing to gain except maybe another $500 million, which at this point in his life would not be worth 49-1 if he lost to an MMA fighter as they boxed. Are you kidding me? Floyd is too shrewd. He's too calculated. So he will continue to string along Conor McGregor by saying, well, the money's not right. No, you got to give me a lot more money than that. And we're going to hear this for the next year from Floyd. I need more money than that. There's no way he will do anything but run from Conor McGregor. Because remember, he got away with, quote unquote, fighting Manny Pacquiao after Manny had become a born-again Christian, and then he tore his rotator cuff 3 weeks ahead of that fight and needed surgery the day after. And this is a whole different level. Conor McGregor is the notorious Conor McGregor. He is the baddest man on the planet.
He's not.
He is a crazy you-know-what. I can't say the words on national TV, but you know what I'm talking about, because you would have to kill this man to whip him, because he's not sane. And Floyd sees it. Floyd sees he has boxing skills. And Floyd at 40 wants none of this with Conor McGregor. So I hope for Conor's sake that he wakes up and wises up and realize he can't wait for a whole nother year without going ahead and engaging in UFC fights. He's saying he's out on UFC until he fights Floyd. UFC has been great to Conor McGregor. It provided him the stage to put him on the map. I know he has issues with how much he's been paid or not paid, and he will continue to have those issues, but he's going to realize he now needs UFC more than it needs him, because it will go on. It will match the best of the best. He should go ahead and take a couple of more big UFC fights, because Floyd ain't coming around anytime soon. He will jab and he will run. He will deflect and he will run. This fight will not happen.
I just want you to know, anything that you say can and will be used and held against Conor McGregor by Floyd Mayweather, because we're going to play this tape back before he lumps him up. I believe the fight's going to happen, because the simple rule is this, and even though the Manny Pacquiao fight probably happened 4 or 5 years too late, it still did 4.6 million buys. Skip, this is a $5 million, $6 million pay-per-view. This is a $600 million fight. Floyd Mayweather's looking like, hold on, wait a minute, let me see here. I'm worth $500 million right now. You mean to tell me I can make another $400 million for 36 minutes by lumping up Conor McGregor? Sign me up. The fight was always a possibility. You knew what the numbers were to get Floyd Mayweather to entertain anything. It's $100 million guaranteed. Okay, can they get to that number? I believe they can. Skip, this was never about Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. This was a power move. I told you from day one. He's tired of fighting for peanuts. He's tired of seeing his hard work. The UFC, Dana White and the UFC making all the money, the fighters taking all the risk, and they get nothing in return. So Ronda Rousey was good, because she's like, hold on, you can pay me this, or I can go over here and act. they had to have her. Well, they don't really need her now because she suffered 2 devastating knockouts. Conor McGregor is the draw. Not only is he a hell of a fighter, his talk game is second to none. So he can sell the fight better than anybody. Then he goes in the ring and back it up because he can say, I'm the only man in UFC history to hold belts simultaneous in 2 different weight classes. He can say that. So this fight can happen. But you know why he wants it to happen more than anything, Skip, Conor McGregor? Because he says, even if I get 20% of 700 million, that's 140 million. So you know what I'm gonna tell you then, Dana White? Kick rocks. I need a 4 to 5 fight deal, and I need 30 million per moving forward. I'm not fighting in the UFC anymore for $4 or $5 million. So if you think I am, you might as well get that thought out of your head, because he saw 20 years ago, the UFC sold for $2 million, got purchased for a little over $4 billion. Now, there's some NFL, and they don't even own a building. Think about these franchises. The Patriots, they own that stadium. Sure. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, they own Jerry's World. You paid $4.4 billion for something, and you don't even own a building to fight in. So Conor McGregor's like, wait a minute. You think I'm about to go out here and risk my life and limb for $3 million puny little dollars while you making 30, 40, 50, 60 million?
Okay, but you're giving me Conor's point of view, and I completely agree with it. Conor badly needs and wants this fight.
Yes!
Conor McGregor tonight would fight Floyd out there in the middle of the Discovery Green.
And he get lumped up with gloves on.
Conor would fight Floyd with bare knuckles out there, and you want to talk about somebody getting hurt and cut, it would be Pretty Boy Floyd's face.
They're going to have on 8-ounce gloves. Floyd said, look, I want to fight you at 147 to 150. We're going to use 8-ounce gloves. And you know what? You're talking about, oh, he'd have to kill Conor McGregor. All I know is this. Nate Diaz made Conor McGregor call him uncle to turn him loose. Uncle, tapped him out. I thought somebody was knocking on the door. He was
Nate Diaz. Whoa, wait a second. He chose on the spur of the moment to fight a man 15 pounds heavier than him. Floyd ever done that? I don't think so.
He fought what you call him, Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya at 154, whipped him, took his belt.
Yeah, and you know what? He was just flat out fat is what he was at 154. That's what he was.
Look.
At the end of the line.
From 130. So you go 130, 135, 140, 147, 154.
And I got one more number for you. 4-0, as in he's about to turn 40 years of age versus a 28-year-old.
I can't think of anything better. Turn 4-0, get 500 million, and be 50-0. That sounds good. That's a patent. 40-0, 50-0, and 500 mil. I like the sound of that.
You know what? I think Mayweather has bad dreams about 49-1.
Skip.
How would that look? He lost to an MMA guy? Really?
All I know, by round 6, this is Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Hey, round 8.
Yeah.
The referee doing this. He can't see.
Yeah.
It's been 16 months since Mayweather's been in the ring.
It could be another 4 months, and Floyd Mayweather will still lump him up again.
Yeah. And by round 10, Floyd would be like this on his back.
Okay. He never touch him. Never touch him. And you know why Manny Pacquiao became a born again? Because he knew he was asking God to take some of that swelling out of his face after Floyd lumped him up. God, please let this eye go down.
Yeah.
Well, for the fans' sake, we hope we see this fight.
Eye go down?
Yeah.
He wasn't even touched.
Had him
12 rounds.
had him looking like the Elephant Man.
He looked like he'd been to the picnic.
Floyd, pick Conor McGregor. I guarantee, Skip. I guarantee you, Floyd would need like 3 or 4 hour makeup artists.
Yeah.
Conor gonna need that, because after Floyd rat-a-tat his head, he'd never been hit so many times.
He'd need a bunch of Gatorade, because he'd have to run a whole marathon, 26.2 miles to get away from this man.
But think about it, Skip. Think about this. People follow Floyd around the ring for 12 rounds to get punched in their face. And man, why don't everybody just keep following him? Just take him down there.
You know,
he got pillow fight. He pillow fight.
I can just see Conor standing in the middle of the ring saying, "Come on, chicken. Come on. Just come over here. I'm right here. Let's fight."
And this is what Floyd's gonna do. Floyd's gonna be standing in his corner, turn like this here with that shoulder to you.
Yeah.
And then Conor gonna try to throw that little left hand, and then Floyd, whop.
That little left hand.
Yeah, he's left-handed.
But he hitting MMA fighters that's not used to dunking punches.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Joy.
We'll see.
No mercy.
Former NFL head coach Eric Mangini. Eric, welcome.
Good to be here.
How are you,
Good to see
Coach?
you guys?
We don't know quite how Coach is going to respond Since his sidekick is not here with him today, Rob.
I know. It's like a little piece of my heart is gone.
He would love to hear you say that.
I miss him.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady will appear in their NFL record 7th Super Bowl. They've won 4 together and lost 2, although those 2 are quite debatable here on the show. Eric, you won 3 rings with the Patriots, so you know this franchise very well. Who is more valuable to their success, Belichick or Brady?
Oh, look, this is a really hard question for me. But when I have to make a decision, I got to go with Tom Brady. I think it's it's really difficult to win the NFL without a quarterback. It's obviously impossible to win in the NFL for as long as they have without a quarterback like Tom Brady. Now, that being said, Tom's first year in New England, Tom wasn't the Tom Brady that we know.
Right.
He was we kept 4 quarterbacks. He used to work every day after practice, and there were some really rough periods, and Bill saw traits in him that he wanted to develop. And Bill giving him that chance to develop, giving him a year to become the player that he eventually became. And even that first year when he played, we scored 3 offensive touchdowns in the playoffs. So it's a marriage that works well for both of them. But at the end of the day, I'd have to go with the quarterback.
Were you shocked that Bill plunged and said, I'm going to trade Drew Bledsoe, a multiple-time, 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback, and keep Tom Brady, who had struggled down the stretch?
Also had taken the Patriots to the Super Bowl, and had just signed a $100 million contract 2 years prior.
Well, that's one of the great things about Bill Belichick is he'll make a decision, and once he makes that decision, he's going forward with it. I remember in Cleveland, he had the Bernie Kosar situation where he thought that Bernie was done. He wanted to move on from him. He brought in Vinny Testaverde, and that's part of what he does that makes him so good is that efficiency and those difficult decisions when everybody else is saying, this is impossible, you shouldn't do that. So was I shocked by it? No, not knowing him. And Tom had those traits. You could see it. It was just a function of when was it going to hit? When was all the things he had going to materialize into the player that he is?
For me, I'm going to say Coach Belichick. It's really hard to say unless one is gone for an extended period of time without the other. And I don't know if we might see that. I mean, when Tom Dunn hangs it up, Coach Belichick says, well, I'm out of here too. But I'm going to say Coach Belichick for this because I've seen him build this system. And I've seen him in 19 games without Tom Brady be 13-6. I have yet to see Tom Brady play without Coach Belichick. Also, top 10 scoring defenses, 13 of the last 16 seasons. That's what the New England Patriots have had. And it's easier to have a system. Now, coaches can install any system they want, but it's a lot easier to implement that system when your best player is your hardest worker. So everybody else will get on board with you. And that's what he has in Tom Brady.
But that's advantage Brady, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it's still his system. It's Coach Belichick that's bringing all the pieces. All Tom Brady has to do is play football. Coach Belichick has to make all the tough decisions. Who comes, who stays? Who do I trade for, who I don't? And plus, think about Coach Mangini is gone. Romeo Cornell left. Charlie Weiss is gone. Josh McDaniels left. Bill O'Brien. Now Josh turned around and came back. All these auxiliary pieces, both of these guys are still there. But I'm willing to give Coach Belichick a lot more credit than other people will. And I understand that you need that quarterback. But to have this kind of sustained success, I think the coach is of utmost importance.
Well, the one thing I'll say, though, is remember, Bill had 6 seasons as a head coach prior to Tom Brady. Right. And there was only one winning season in those 6 years. Right. So when you want to look at one without the other, if you look at that body, and that's what made me lean towards Tom, is the fact that he had all those years and one winning season prior to the marriage with Tom Brady.
This was hard for you.
It's really hard for me.
This is really plunging for you.
Because I don't think either one of them is where they are today without the other. I don't think
agree with that.
If Bill didn't give Tom that year, let's say Bill just cut Tom. He's a 6th-round draft pick. It's not like he was tearing it up at practice. He kept him purely based on traits, and that came from his experience in Cleveland. That came from his experience of being patient enough to let a guy develop. If that doesn't happen, who knows where the Tom Brady story goes?
Okay, but let's do the flip of that. As you point out, Coach Belichick, first 6 years as a head coach in the National Football League, he has 5 losing seasons. Then he starts out the next season. You started out, you were coaching
1 and 3
DBs, but you were 0-2 at one point, right? That was the Jets game.
Yeah, we were
you
dusting
lost
off
the game.
for sale signs on the houses.
Okay, right? right? So let's do the hypothetical. What if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt in the Jets game? What if he stays upright and you go once again, what were you the year before? Like 5-11. What if you even go 8-8 that year? And is it possible the staff would have gotten fired? It's possible, right? As you said.
Yeah, when we came into New England, and everybody forgets this, there was an uproar hiring Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
People were so against us being there, and history's been rewritten since that time.
And plus, you had to give up a first rounder to get him.
It was giving up a first rounder, but it was day after day of getting hammered. How could Kraft make this decision? This franchise is dysfunctional, all those things. And then that first year, to your point, we spent a lot of time putting in a system, putting in a culture, putting in the things we believed in.
So the point is that, hypothetically, if Coach Belichick gets fired, so he would have been 2 head coaching jobs and failed at 2, would he just have become a defensive coordinator from that point on? Would he have been, again, great defensive mind, but would he have gotten another opportunity to be a head coach? I don't know. I would doubt it.
Well, remember, Pete Carroll got fired twice in the NFL and then got a third opportunity. And granted, he went back to
go
USC,
back to USC and have big
to do
success,
that, but
right?
just because people get it wrong twice doesn't mean they're right.
Okay, I got it. So to your point, you're going Belichick. Not only does he have a Tom Brady, and I'm all about Brady in this argument, but not only is he, as you say, the greatest quarterback ever, he's also the greatest leader ever as far as what you would want. You couldn't like go into a lab and create a better quarterback intangibly than a guy who takes less money to play. He wants no public credit for what happens on the field, all those Super Bowls, right? Is he not the ideal guy to have leading your franchise? There's no drama to him. He doesn't make waves. He doesn't criticize the head coach. He doesn't criticize anybody. To a fault almost, he has no real rough edges publicly that anybody can latch onto. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how could you draw up a better quarterback to have for all those years? And now he's at 39, and he's having arguably his best season ever at 39 because no older quarterback has ever taken care of himself better than Tom Brady has at this age, right? So to me, Brady made Bill more than Bill made Brady because Bill could handle the defensive side of the ball, right?
All of that is true, but to Shannon's point, without Bill putting that system in place, without that foundation being in place, without the consistency of the way that he approaches things and his big picture perspective and his efficiency in making decisions, whether it's free agency or the draft, Tom wouldn't be Tom. We see great quarterbacks who win 1 Super Bowl when they probably should have won 4 or 5 Super Bowls. That's where it becomes gray. Without Bill, we're not talking about Tom in this context, in this level of success.
I got it. So did Bill ever have to worry about getting star receivers for Tom Brady? Could he just sit back and say, he'll make it work with Troy Brown or name somebody along the way? He did have Randy Moss for a minute, but generally he's doing it now with Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan. So you don't have to worry as a team builder about finding star receivers. Go pick the quarterback in the 7th round who was a running quarterback in college, Julian Edelman. Tom will turn him into something, and he did. Right?
Yeah, and Bill, in his, I don't know how many years as a head coach now, has only drafted 1 wide receiver in the 1st round ever, and that was in Cleveland. It was Derek Alexander. That's not a position that he worries about, so that's great in terms of having Tom. And I do think that's a distinction with Tom. He makes the people around him better. You don't have to worry about adding to that. But without all those other things that are in place, and it's a special system in New England, Tom can't be who he is.
Yeah. Coach Belichick also understands the higher you draft the receiver, the more chance you're going to get diva. And you know you can't be a diva in that locker room.
No.
But also what goes untold is that Tom Brady can go to Coach Belichick because of his great mind and say, in this formation, in this area of the field, if you were trying to stop this formation, how would you attack it? What would you do? That's why a lot of great quarterbacks normally like to have defensive-minded coach, because 3rd down is very big for a quarterback. And this is where Tom and the greats are able to stay on the field and get that drive to get them into the end zone and win games.
But this is where Bill Belichick comes in again, because when you look at Josh McDaniels and when you look at Brian Daboll, both those guys worked with me first in the secondary. So they spent time on defense learning that perspective before he moved him over to offense. So now you've got not just Bill's insight on defense, but the offense coordinator has it. The tight ends coach has it. That there's a global vision there.
So Shannon Sharpe, a trusted lieutenant from Bill Belichick's staff, says Brady over Belichick. Case closed. Right?
No mercy. Joined by Pro Football Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. Marcus is here on behalf of K Jewelers. Welcome to Undisputed, Marcus, and tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you, guys. Just recently celebrated their 100th anniversary, guys, and a part of their had this incredible partnership with St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Fantastic job, and they come up with this unique way to help raise money for their organization by singing the famous jingle, "Every kiss begins with K."
Oh, nice. Very
right.
nice.
Great.
And so we ask everybody to, you guys want to do it one more time? 1, 2, 3. Every kiss begins with K. Oh, you guys are awesome. There you go. So you log on to Facebook and Twitter, and you post a video singing the jingle, and it's amazing. I've had some fantastic people that have sent videos in, and a lot of these people can really sing. So I want to have rights of first refusal. You know what I mean? I sign them as an agent. I may start a label and stuff. But for every video, it's $100. Up to $50,000 they will donate. So it's a wonderful cause to St. Jude's Hospital. So this is really nice.
Awesome.
And I appreciate you guys singing it. Very nice.
You did a very
Great
nice job.
Awesome.
Marcus, let's talk about one of your former teams, the Raiders. They were on their way to a great season, but then Derek Carr broke his fibula in Week 16, and they were eliminated by the Texans in the wild card rounds of the playoffs. Marcus, how far would the Raiders have gone with a healthy Derek Carr?
Well, he certainly changes the whole dynamic of the team. I've often said that I think he's not only the best offensive player, but he's the best defensive player, too, because if he plays the way that he's supposed to play and puts points on the board, the defense actually plays the game that I think they're suited for, which is, rushing the passer. They're not really built for a team that approaches them with ball control and really sort of, and nickel and diming down the field. You have to, that team defensively, the pass rushers are the key there. And when they lost the quarterback, obviously, they played from behind. And so that is not where I think their strength is. But I think defensively, they're going to clearly have to improve.
Yes.
To be a better team. And it sounds rather trite, but we always say, offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships, and they really do.
So would you have given them a shot at Foxborough against Brady's team? With a healthy Derek, obviously.
No.
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I think that's where they need to improve. I mean, honestly, I think it's tremendous strides. I think Reggie's done McKenzie's done a fantastic job. Mark's done a fantastic job bringing Jack Del Rio in and surrounding Carr with, I think, fantastic pieces, but they still need to get better on defense. And not until they get better in that area will I ever give them a chance against the Patriots.
Want me to go?
Yeah.
So, Marcus, as a highly respected Hall of Famer, how much respect did you lose for Tom Brady because he got suspended for cheating?
None at all. I think it was much ado about nothing, frankly. I think it was sort of overblown. I don't know to which degree the football. I mean, I could tell over the years that some football is a little more inflated than others and stuff, but I don't really think it impacted the game as much. I mean, that's just my opinion. So I haven't lost respect for Tom. I still think I think he's great. There's always been this debate about who's number one, and I love Tom. Love what he's done. A friend of mine, and the fact that he's 4-2. I mean, you really can't pin those losses on him. I mean, it was one incredible play by David Tyree, which kept a drive alive, and then there was an incomplete pass that they should have converted on, and who you never know, they could have won 2 more Super Bowls. But I played with the guy. I played with him, so that's the difference. I played with a guy, number 16, in the sunset of his career, Joe Montana. He was awesome. I mean, he was just awesome to play with in Kansas City. I mean, he was in the latter part of his career, and he was still great. And he was 4-0 in Super Bowls. So, I mean, I don't try to say who's number one. I just appreciate both of them and stuff. But one a little more because I played with one.
Shannon, Hall of Famers, are they down on Brady? Do you hear sort of
They're not really down on him, but that is on his resume. They just wish they could determine definitively one way or another, did or didn't he. Something happened. Now, they don't feel as strongly about you that the NFL railroaded him. They just wish he'd been more forthcoming in his response in handling the situation.
Well, should we penalize Fred Blitnikoff? He had a little bit of stickum.
It was legal at the time. When they banned it, yeah, it was legal. They banned it because of him and Lester. Y'all ruined the football.
That's true. I used to.
He and Lester ruined the
football at times, or obviously you would pick it up and it was like it had goo all over it and stuff like that, along with grass and everything else.
Yeah.
So they constantly had to put footballs in and out.
Yes.
But that's just my opinion and stuff. I don't think it changes anything that he's done. I think he's been a remarkable player, a fabulous quarterback. And that's just what I think.
Well, let me get something in your wheelhouse. A lot of great running backs. Guys had great seasons. Who do you think is the best running back in football right now?
Well, this is for different reasons. Because I see myself, we put ourselves, you guys don't know this, we put ourselves in a different category. I mean, not a different category, but another category because we see ourselves as tall backs. And tall backs, we see ourselves have to be better because you have more body to hit. You can't hide from the line of scrimmage. Guys like, I love Barry Sanders and Emmett, but they can hide behind the linemen.
Right.
They're so much shorter, and they have so much less body to hit as opposed to, I'm 6'3", I didn't hide from anybody.
Right.
Eric Dickerson, 6'3.5", he didn't hide from anybody. Chuck Muncie was tall, he didn't.
Yes.
Le'Veon Bell is not hiding from anybody. You can see him. And so we feel like you have to be even, have more maneuverability, you have to have greater feet, you have to have, because you have more body to hit as well. And so, I'm always going with the tall guy.
So he's just saying that Le'Veon has a little higher degree of difficulty, but he's not saying he's the best back.
But he also,
I am saying that. I love him. I think versatility-wise, I think he can do everything.
And you see more of yourself in him than probably he and David Johnson of the Cardinals. You probably see more of yourself. Run the ball, catch the ball, block, do all these other things.
He can do it all. He can throw the ball as well. He can line up a wide receiver. You can move him all over the field, and he can play on every single down. He doesn't have to go out. Yeah. Which is, this day and age, we have a lot of specialty playing the game and stuff. I mean, we never wanted to leave the field, ever.
So, Marcus, I got to remind you of one thing. This thing. They're all doing it because they all know. Ezekiel Elliott is not exactly a short back. Now, again, he's on the cusp of being tall. I think he's 6 feet.
I think he's 5'10".
No, I don't think so.
What you think, Marcus?
He's 6 feet.
Hey, listen here. There's no doubt that he is,
He's pretty good.
What are you saying? Between him and Emmett, what are you saying? You think he may be better?
No, I can't go that far.
Okay, good.
Yet.
I was going to say he may be the latest. As far as the Cowboys are concerned, he may be the latest, but Emmett's still the greatest.
Okay, I'll give you that. But Ezekiel is already greater than Le'Veon is. I'll take him any Sunday over Le'Veon.
Really?
Any Sunday.
I have nothing against Zeke, but I'll take Le'Veon.
Okay, you would take.
I just got to make sure that he's there. He's well stretched. I know that he's there on Sunday because that's certainly the key.
Okay, but he tiptoes to the line of scrimmage and says,
Listen,
maybe there's a hole over here. I don't know. I'll find one.
There's no tiptoeing. There's no tiptoeing. I mean, he doesn't wear heels out there. He knows exactly what he's doing. And matter of fact, I think it's a tribute to his offensive line because they don't allow penetration. Now, I wish that I could do that, take that much time. I was patient, but clearly not the patience that he had. Once I saw the Hawaii hit it, I went downhill fast. But he has the ability and had the luxury of being able to pick his holes better than anybody I've seen in a long time. Now, and what is he, 230-some pounds? I mean, he's not, he's not a
small guy.
Yeah, he's not a small guy, and he doesn't run like a small back either.
Okay, have you seen better body lean and explosion than Zeke the Freak has when he hits the line of scrimmage? Okay. I haven't.
It's clear to say you're a Zeke fan, and so am I.
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, I don't know that. I've watched the show, Skip, and you obviously pulled for the Cowboys for many years.
Enough said.
Enough said. But I think they're both great, but I'd like the versatility. That's what I like. I like guys that are able to do more. I mean, and he can certainly catch and run, but I mean, and he blocks well. I've noticed that as well too. But I just think that Le'Veon has a lot more versatility, can line up in more positions and become a threat in other areas than Zeke.
Is that Marcus Allen talking, or is that me talking?
I think you've watched too much of the show, right?
Just love when they agree with you.
I know him. You know, I know my opponent well. Now he's my teammate. So, so yeah.
Now, Marcus, just to be clear, walking in heels is a skill.
No mercy.
We're in Texas, Skip. We've got to talk about the Cowboys.
Yes.
We've got some Cowboys fans here in studio.
How about that, Cowboys?
You came around a little bit to the Cowboys.
I'm turning everything down to get your Cowboys.
Well, Cowboys fans definitely wish their team was in the Super Bowl this year, for Super Bowl 51. But it was an amazing year in Dallas. The boys finished 13-3 and had the best record in the NFC while discovering two rookie sensations in Dak Prescott and Zeke the Freak Elliott. However, they went home early after losing to the Packers in the divisional round. Skip, the Cowboys look to next year. Now, you predicted them to be in the Super Bowl this year, but you also predicted the Patriots to be there, and they're here. How close is this team to being a Super Bowl team?
Allow me to say, if Mason Crosby hadn't lucked in 2 cross-country field goals, the Cowboys would be here this week. They would.
How are they going to beat the Falcons?
They would have beaten the Falcons at Jerry World. They just control the ball the way they always do. 11 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. They would have just kept Matt Ryan and company off the field.
Like they kept Aaron Rodgers off the field?
Well, the defense didn't show up for about a quarter and a half. Then it started to show up.
Was Randy White
guess
playing?
What? It was 28-28 and 31 all. And Mason Crosby. Those field goals were from Dallas to Houston. That's how far they were. And they lucked in. So back to the question. It's a great question. It's loaded, though, because I don't know whether Jerry Jones is going to get rid of Tony Romo. Yeah. My biggest fear is that Tony Romo will be the starting quarterback of Game 1 next year. If that happens, I'm out.
Nope.
I'm out.
I'm not going to let you out.
But if Tony Romo is eliminated by whatever means, whether you trade him, you give him away, or you just flat out cut him, all of a sudden you open up $25 million on the salary cap next year, and the next year another $25 million.
Well, if you cut him, Skip, you only open up $5 million because that $19 million goes this year.
But effectively, it allows you more flexibility in free agency, and you can maybe score some big hits in free agency that you wouldn't be able to with Tony Romo.
Right.
And obviously, all that would be geared toward improving a defense that was average at best. Then you can focus in the draft. You can go defense, 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 best cornerback, best rusher available, best pass rusher available, because Dak and Zeke will get nothing but better and better. I believe in Dak Prescott. So no Romo, I'm in. They will be here, or that's this game, obviously, next year. But with Romo back in the saddle, I'm out.
They do need, their defense. And I told you this all year. I've been trying to tell you this, but you didn't want to listen. You had the Hall of Fame pull my credentials because I was picking against the Cowboys and they were winning.
Well, you were only wrong 10 times, but it's okay.
It's like playing the lottery. I just need to be right once, and then I'm wealthy. But, Skip, they need defensive help. They need a pass rusher, a bona fide pass rusher, and they need a corner. I keep telling you, Mo Claiborne, he can't stay healthy, and Brandon Uscar is not the answer. Get you a cornerback. Get you a D lineman that can go put pressure on the quarterback because you have an offense. You have an offense for the long term moving forward. All your key players are 27 and under. Your 3 best linemen under the age of 27. Zeke will be 22. Dak will be 24. So you got the makings of an offense, and Dez is, 28, 29. So you have the makings of an offense. You also probably need to go start getting your tight end. I know you want Jason to stay around for another 3 or 4 years.
No, but I hear you. I got it.
Don't wait until he retires. Get one so he can mentor him on the way out. Get you a pass rusher first. Get your cornerback second. And if you get rid of Romo, you could possibly get those things in free agency. But knowing the Cowboys like I know the Cowboys and knowing Jerry like I know him, they will not be in Minnesota next year. They will not be in Atlanta the year after. So I'm sorry, Skip. You can be in or out. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
That is purely wishful thinking on your part. You are hoping against hope because you see that offensive line It's only going to get better. You see the quarterback. I made you a believer, and I started back in the preseason telling you this kid is legit.
I'm a believer.
This kid is going to last. The running back is already the best running back now in football, and he has a chance to be the all-time greatest if he can stay healthy. So all of a sudden I'm seeing if Des Bryant can get with the program, grow up a little bit, accept his role as a leader on this team, this offense could be the best offense in pro football next year. You just shore up the defense a little bit, which played really well for Rod Marinelli. It was a top 5 scoring defense all year. Just shore it up, get some playmakers, and all of a sudden, Super Bowl, here we come.
Skip, I'm not arguing any of the things that you said. You have all the ingredients to make a great dish. It's already set for you. But that head chef named Jerry Jones always gonna come and put some monk up in the goose and mess it up. You know this, Skip. You know him better than anybody. You've written all these books. You spent all these hours. You know Jerry gonna mess it up.
That's why I would like to trade Jerry Jones to the Houston Texans. Would you take him? Yes, you can have him. You can have him. I'll give him to you for nothing.
Hey, Joy, you know that face that LeBron makes when everything when he came up, he was photobombing D. Wade?
Yeah. Yeah, that face.
Well, it's been 21 seasons since the Cowboys' last Super Bowl win. 21. Back in 1995.
How many seasons since they won more than one playoff game?
Look, I believe that they were going to make it this year. I think they'll be there next year. They need to shore up the defense a little bit.
You believe the Dolphins were going to win the AFC East?
No, she did not.
I didn't. But where were your teams in the playoffs this year?
We took a break. We were still celebrating after Super Bowl.
I'm a Dolphins fan out. There he is. Yeah.
Yes, his teams won the Super Bowl. He had so many switch picks. He finally got it right.
He finally just landed on one that made it there.
The Broncos were celebrating our big historic golden Super Bowl 50 victory.
Take a year off. No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. That's all for us today. Come back and catch us tomorrow. We'll be here live all week in Houston to get you ready for the big game. Fox Sports 1 of 1.